Dear friends, once again I welcome you all to my video session where I am giving you many details about many body conditions and food intake, exercise and so many other things. Today we are going to talk about a very sensitive and very fearful disease known in this world, diabetes. Diabetes will affect 50% of the population within next few years unless we are very careful with our environment and our agricultural practices and other chemical items which we take inadvertently into our stomach along with food. Okay, this is a very lengthy and very exhaustive subject, but I will try to condense everything as short as I can. We have acquired many knowledge about diabetes, we know many precautions, we know many other things, yet I want to highlight in certain areas which we do not get from physicians. They warn you, but they don't give a very lengthy talk. They warn you, definitely they warn you, there are so many medicines, there are so many medicinal practices, but we just go very quickly into all those things. First, manifestation of diabetes. Why diabetes is so prevalent in modern days? Two aspects. Recent studies say our microRNAs, we have DNAs, we have RNAs, and there are one more item now they have found it as microRNAs. These microRNAs gradually affect, due to some reasons, the beta cells in our pancreas. That is point 1. Why they need to be affected? Because our agricultural practices are using lot of pesticides and synthetic manures. These synthetic manures and pesticides mostly affect the level of B12 and D3 in our body. This is this or that debate. Whether a person becomes a diabetic because of B12 loss and D2 deficiency, or for a diabetic person, these two are deficient. That is an arguable debate. Leaving that apart, pesticides or synthetic manures, they cause a phytoestrogen-like compounds in our body. These compounds, because estrogen and testosterone are regenerative, reproductive inducing hormones, I have a doubt, or many researchers have a question in this, whether these phytochemicals, these phytoestrogens affect our these reproductive organs, thereby is there any genetic deficiency or genetic disorder? Does it affect that microRNAs? Is a still ongoing research. Let us not go into that. That is not our subject. So this is the root cause for diabetes. What is a diabetes? Diabetes has two aspects. One, permanently there is no insulin, that is type 1. Insulin is there, glucose is there, but the signaling between them is affected, type 2. Third one, gestational diabetes. People who are pregnant sometimes, or if they are in the verge of diabetic manifestation, they get a diabetes during their pregnancy period. Type 1 diabetes, there is no insulin secretion at all because our pancreas, beta cell or alpha cell or both, mostly beta cell, affected by autoimmune system. Rheumatoid arthritis, vitiligo, type 1 diabetes all happen only because of our autoimmune deficiency problem or autoimmune affection in our body. Okay, we put more food through our mouth. We mostly eat three categories of food. One is starch, the other one is protein, the other one is fat, and we add micronutrients called vitamins or vitamins and minerals. So these 5 items give us strength. 5 items give us immediate energy, stored energy. Fat is stored energy. Starch is immediate energy, and for our structure and our defense and for all the hormones and for all the digestive enzymes, protein helps. Okay, let it be there. Now, all our starch is converted into glucose. So that glucose is already stored as glycogen in our liver. Only glycogen is converted into glucose and mixed in the blood. Now, signaling hormones. When there is a protein problem, these signaling hormones will not work in coordination. When there is more glucose in the blood, beta cells secrete more insulin, and insulin and glucose is burned in the cell with the help of chromium and gives us immediate energy. When there is not enough chromium in the cell, the burning is either hampered or it is not happening as it has to be happening. So insulin is sensitive to the cells. The insulin is not fully used inside the cells. Though it is secreting to certain level, when it is not used inside the cell, our glucose rises in the blood. Liver always releases glucose according to the body requirement. When these glucose and insulin are immediately neutralized in the blood, we have no diabetes. When the neutralization is delayed, we have diabetes. When the usual range is fasting 80, within 80 up to 120, postprandial 120 to 160, this is normal. For ordinary people, this happens without any hampering or without any disturbance. Once you become a type 2 diabetes person or a type 1 diabetes person, there is always a problem between insulin and glucose. This you should keep in mind. So, there is no known medicine to bring back this switching mechanism into the body. So, all you can do is controlling sugar release, and sometimes you can induce insulin secretion and trying to burn the insulin inside your cells. So there are many practices that we will learn one by one. Now what happens? What are the problems because of diabetes? The glucose is a sugar. There are many sugar molecules, monosaccharide, polysaccharides, and many types of sugar. Levulose, dextrose, sucralose, saccharose, and all these roses. Okay. But once it goes inside your body, there are no more roses. So glucose, when it mixes with any other compound, that becomes sticky. So glucose in your blood, the glucose in your bloodstream moves along with the blood proteins. We have two types of proteins in blood. One is hemoglobin, other one is plasma protein. They are there to carry different cells to different parts of the body. Red cells carry the nutrients. White cells are there for defense. In between there is plasma. Plasma protein, when it mixes with glucose, it becomes sticky. So, the blood flow in the blood cells become sluggish. When cholesterol is added to that, some part of cholesterol, some type of cholesterol, not all cholesterol. Cholesterol is always not only coming from food, it is exogenic and endogenic. Body for its own need sometimes can convert fat into cholesterol. When there is more glucose in blood, when it is stored more in your system, there is always a chance that it can be converted into fat and unnecessarily deposited in your muscles and body parts. That may cause you obesity. If there is uncontrolled too much diabetes, that may work upon your protein and people will become lean and thin. Our first question, if you find a person suddenly becoming lean, we ask him, are you a diabetic? Best diagnosis by any in this world. Leave it apart. When blood becomes very thicker, it gradually slows down the speed of the blood. When the speed of the blood in the blood vessels are reduced, heart has to increase the pressure. So naturally, heart is suffering and there is blood pressure. Second malady of diabetes. Next, what happens? Because there is blood pressure and because there is thickened blood, the flow of blood vessels are hampered. So, many minute blood vessels in our body, they are deprived of nutrients. When there is a deprivation of nutrients, they do not work maximum. This is third malady. Now what happens? The feet is the farthest part of our body. So when heart pushes everything inside, it has to reach the feet and then has to come back. This I have explained in my previous videos. So we have major blood vessels, little smaller and minutest blood vessels. Some are even in the thickness of our hair. Blood almost will not go into such blood vessels or they will go very slow and the coming back will not be very fast, very sluggish movement. First, these nutrients they do not reach. So because of that what happens, from head we will come to know what will really happen when diabetes is uncontrolled for many years. Usually within first 5 years it does not show much problem. But if you are if you devour your food, within even 3 years you can reach the peak of diabetes. Don't devour food, eat food. Now what happens? We will start from head. When there is improper blood flow for your brain, brain does not use any type of sugar more than its need. Low sugar will affect your brain, but very high sugar will not affect your brain at all. So it works strictly according to the necessity of the glucose in its cells. First, blood vessels. If minute blood vessels in the brain, because of malnutrients happening of diabetes, if it affected a blood cell, there are two conditions. One, there is no blood flow to particular cells in the brain, and there is another possibility, a blood vessel may leak, which I will talk about the feet. If it leaks, hemorrhage, if there is a stoppage due to clot, I told you, thick blood. If there is a clot, these things I talk only for those people who have uncontrolled diabetes, who does not care about diabetes, who neglect the effects of diabetes, to those who does not listen to any physician's advice, only to them. So, stroke happens, paralysis happens, hemiplegia happens. Sometimes other difficulties also. The next part, yes, mostly they escape, but after 70 years, they also get affected because of diabetes. Nose, no problem. We lose our smell, that is good. We will not go for many aromatic food. And the next affecting part will be your eyes. Eyes have mostly two problems. One, detachment of retina or retinopathy. When the thicker particles in your blood is accumulated inside your eyes, it is called hard exudates, and there is a eye pressure inside. Sometimes they may increase the eye pressure. Some people get glaucoma, very rare, but some other people they get a retinopathy. Retina will gradually lose the seeing part of. First it will be color blindness, then there will be image recording cannot be fully seen by the retina. Next, optical nerves, very small nerves which are spreading around the retina, they will get affected and subsequently there will be white spots. And if blood take vessels that take blood to the optic nerves, if it is affected, people completely lose their vision. Be very careful. Then mouth, there is not much problem inside the mouth. Some people after diabetes they develop hypothyroidism. Some other people, they develop hyperthyroidism. That is not our area of study. Then heart, I told you, blood pressure, or sometimes because of thickened blood, the blood flowing to the heart itself, that is diabetes or no diabetes, when the blood taken to the four main arteries of the heart which flows on the four sides of the heart, when it is affected, heart failure. Initially it is heart failure, then comes heart attack, fatality. Coming down, lungs. Lungs, usually they are not deprived of the blood vessels, but sometimes if it happens, there is insufficient oxygen in your blood. That also, it's not a major problem with the diabetes, but what happens when liver and kidney gets spoiled because of diabetes, the next victim is lungs. It is very advanced stage I am talking about. When it is the cause for multiple organ failure, even when liver is completely spoiled or kidney is completely out of working condition, immediately the next victim is lungs. Lungs, there will be fluid accumulation. Those fluids which cannot be corrected by liver and removed by kidney will get accumulated in your lungs. It is called pneumonia. Immediately ventilator. Ventilator mostly cannot revive a life unless it is caused of some other problem, an accident or a blow or some other thing. Mostly those people have organ failure of liver and kidney, their lungs cannot be revived. Pray to God and reach Him. The next, lungs over. Liver, because of the improper signaling, there also will be a problem. Because of too much fat in it, they may be thickened. They may become fatty. If they become fatty, there will be problem in many enzyme secretion. There will be problem in many defense systems. So liver also cannot withstand high level of diabetes. Then go down to kidney. Kidney, what happens when the pressure is increased, because the lung heart pressure is very minimal, I think 35 systolic pressure, because of the distance. Here I again reiterate, this is creation. Something fallen from a space cannot decide this pressure and all. Kidney, the pressure is more than 180, sometimes it goes up to 220. When your other blood vessel pressure is beyond control, when it goes to 180, this pressure inside your kidney may reach even up to 300 diastolic pressure. What is kidney? How it removes the urine? The blood is just pushed on the filtering membranes. Urine is separated in osmosis method. Okay, blood will not be lost. The water content in the blood with unwanted impurities, mostly collected from protein usage of the body, reaches the kidney and they are removed. It definitely has, it should have creatinine, but in a certain limit. If that creatinine increases, it shows that these filters are terribly damaged because of high blood pressure or too much of liquor or too much of smoke. Keep all these things in your mind. God, when a child is taking a birth, God has given us a beautiful body to manipulate, to manage anything, but we manipulate it wrongly and invite all the diseases and death. Okay, kidney over, kidney failure. Then reproductive system, because of the impaired blood flow, they do not work properly, mostly in males. Mostly in males. Many of the diabetic people, they have problem in their reproductive system. I do not want to go in very detail. Both will be, the substance and the source will be affected and the performance will be terribly affected. Do not take any other medicines. Mostly medicines used to revive reproductive system will increase your blood pressure. So you will incur more wrath into your body and you will incur more problems to your body. Keep it in mind. Abstain. Enough is enough. This happens mostly after 55 years of age. But in certain cases, in type 1 diabetes, it may set very early. So I am asking all the parents, juvenile diabetes happens at the very early age of your children. So please do not go after this fellow has medicine, that fellow has medicine, there is herb, there is touch therapy, there is push therapy, there is pull therapy and all. Nothing will help you from head to toe. Now what happens? When there is impaired blood circulation, when the vascular problem arises, when the vascular problem is there, your blood vessels get spoiled and they started permeate. Permeating is leaking. Mostly the veins begin the permeation and most of the impurities which have to reach kidney or liver are leaked in your legs. When there is vascular problem in the feet, they swell. That is known as fluid retention or edema. Mild edemas, they don't cause much problem. Because of diabetes or any other heart problem can cause pedal edema. So when there is fluid accumulation, especially when it arises out of diabetes, the sticky blood and the sticky flow in the blood vessels causes permeation. When permeation is too much, in other parts of the body you may feel itching. When kidney fails, when liver fails, lot of itching. When there is blood flow hampering in your bones, when there is no enough blood circulation in your bones, the bone marrow gets affected. Bone marrow produces all our blood cells. So the protection will not be proper and we will become either anemic or we will lose our defense system. Okay. The next one, the bone marrow when it is disturbed or the bone texture, it loses all its mineral intake. There is not enough calcium, there is not enough magnesium, there is not enough boron, there is not enough zinc, there is not enough collagen. So they become very brittle and you get osteoporosis and further after 20-25 years there will be bone necrosis, not only in your bones, also in your teeth. So many diabetes people, they lose their teeth. This is a point. Next one, when nerves are not getting proper blood flow, their axons in the communication, those cells which are doing the communication, they become weak or they become inactive. In certain portion, if they become inactive, there is no proper communication from brain to muscles. Either your motor nerves will be affected or your sensory nerves will be affected. When sensory nerves are affected, your muscles are affected. So when your muscles are affected, your sensory nerves are affected. Because of impairment of motor nerves, your muscles will go numb. So when your muscles go numb and there is no communication in your nerves, you do not feel pain in your feet. There is already permeation. Now you do not feel the pain when there is a permeation or when there is a blockage. You do not feel the pain. So you go scot-free, you devour food once again and you add fuel to the fire. So when there is a gap in the skin, the infection goes in and gradually it spreads along the blood vessels. When it is detected earlier and if you visit regularly to the doctor and before taking a bath, if you check before sleep or before taking a bath, if you check regularly your feet, you can escape this malady. If the infection is in the beginning stage, always antibiotics help it. Okay, first they will remove one toe or many toes or all the toes, then you cannot walk. Once you cannot walk, you always keep it in mind, your legs are your second heart. Heart pumps down, legs pushes up. So when there is no sensation, when they have removed the fingers, you cannot walk as you were doing that. So you cannot do any walking exercise. Even if you neglected in that condition, maybe they amputate at feet level. Some people, they do not know what is happening inside, some illiterate people. So then at the knee level, below the knee or above the knee, some people, the total leg is removed, but before that many people die. Many people they die. So these are all the manifestation of diabetes. What is really happening inside the body because of diabetes. If you do not care, if you neglect and if you poo-poo the diabetic conditions, or if you still believe that we don't have to take any medicines. If somebody says that, please put cow dung on their face. They are telling lies. If somebody talks so much about everything against this, do not believe them. They are digging a grave for you. Keep all these things in your mind. Now, how we can come out of it? You can never come out of a diabetes. I am a diabetic patient. I am suffering for past 25 years, but I know how to control it. Even then, sometimes I too have suffered. But because I know the other systems, I have consulted English doctors, I mean allopathy doctors, and I already know herbal medicine, so I am somehow managing and I am talking to you. Now, there are many modern medicines for diabetes. Suppose you have gone, you have met an accident, or you have a heart problem, or you have digestive problem, or you have some other kidney problem, many problems. Or there is Parkinson's disease, or there is Alzheimer's disease. When there is no proper blood flow to the brain, there is no nutrient, you lose your dopamine level, you get Parkinson's and Alzheimer's disease also. That is different study. Okay, now what happens? Usually, allopathy medicine prescribes three types of medicines. One is metformin, that works on your liver and it controls the release of the glucose in the blood. That both ways, it does not release immediately or somehow it controls the glucose level in your blood. The other one is glimepiride. Glimepiride is sulfonylurea medicines which go into your pancreas and they work on your beta cells. They help the beta cells to secrete more insulin. So with these two medicines, many physicians give you a very controlling diabetic condition. They can control your diabetes. But because of our ignorance in our food practice, we squarely spoil our health and put the blame on physicians. There is a dosage. That dosage can help only up to certain limit. If your food take is beyond that limit, then you are in trouble. For that, you cannot increase the dosage of the medicine. That may hamper or that may bring in more troubles adding to the diabetes. Next is insulin. There are two types of insulin. One is immediately acting insulin, the other one is slow acting insulin. These are synthetic insulins. These have been used much after much researches. They will not in any way affect any of your organs including brain. So if you cannot take medicines regularly, I will please advise you, please take insulin. But when you are taking quick release insulin, be very careful. There is always a chances for going into hypoglycemic effect, which is more dangerous than hyperglycemic effect. Keep it in mind. Whatever terms I use, please check in the internet to get more detailed information. Now insulin. Okay, now we will move into herbal part of it. Herbals can work only for 10 years or 15 years to completely control diabetes. There also you have to stick on to the dosage. Do not listen to any aunties or uncles sharing with you about any particular medicine for this. There is none in this world. But there is an option. So usually herbal should be given in combination for all the above said problems. Gymnema sylvester is one such medicine which controls glucose release of the liver. This is after research. There are research papers for all these herbs which I am mentioning in the internet. You can go and check in the site of NCBI, National Center for Biotechnology Information. Okay, Gymnema sylvester, it controls diabetes. You can always take herbal preparation for diabetes along with allopathy medicines, but not immediately. There should be 5 hours gap. The previous medicine and the previous food should completely be removed from your digestive system, and they all should have stopped their action in your body. Okay, you can take herbs without disturbing these things. But food, you be very careful with your starch intake, protein intake, also fat intake, and you can take lot of fruits for natural vitamins and nutrients. And those food with skin is always good. Those food with chromium inherently in them are very good. For that, you please check the internet and you consult some naturopathy physicians or herbalists like me, and you can get clarified. I have given my email address. Only for clarification you can call me, but for medicines you have to listen to your personal physician. The option is yours. I am not thrusting anything upon anyone. So now food. Fruit is necessarily is necessary, and there is two other important item. One is glycemic index. You just type any of your food in the internet, that will show you a glycemic index number. Put glycemic index, that will show. Glycemic index less than 50 is safe. Even then it may give you harm when your diabetes is uncontrolled, but it is safe for other people. Above 70, 50 up to 70 is danger level. Many of your cereals, rice, wheat, millets or anything have only 70, glycemic value is 70. Fruits, they have higher glycemic value, but fruit glucoses are mostly what is levulose or fructose. They do not involve insulin in their glucose conversion or glucose usage. They directly are used by the liver. So when you always take a synthetic sugar or levulose type sugars, be careful. Too much of anything beyond dosage may affect your liver. I am putting so many things inside. So you take time, see part by part. I speak continuously, otherwise I will lose my flow. So you will listen part by part, and this will be a diabetic handbook, or above that, this will be a diabetic nomenclature. Even above that, it is a diabetic dictionary. You refer often. You keep this video and refer often. Whatever I have omitted in my flow, please refer internet. Okay. Now food part of it is over. Now herbal part, I told you, Gymnema sylvester, Jambolanum, which is that fruit, purple color fruit, and its seeds. It helps you to maintain your homeostasis of water, because diabetes always affects the homeostasis of water and chemical level in your body. That is why diabetes is very dangerous. And another one, Tamil they call it Kovai, and it is coccinia, I think, coccinia. Coccinia plant, the fruit and the leaves are too good. And all other medicines, Arjuna, it is good for your heart. Vinca rosea is good for your, it is against causing cancer. Many diabetes people, uncontrolled diabetes people, they get cancer, it is proven. So that Vinca rosea works against your cancer. And like that, so many other herbs that I will give a list. I don't want to explain everything. So there is no other complete remedy for diabetes in this world. Best understanding, best controlling methods can help you survive diabetes you can live even up to 80, 90 years when you have good control in your diabetic condition. Okay, these are all my suggestions and prescriptions for your diabetes. I may, I might have omitted a few things on the course of my fast speech. You always use my email address and you can get clarified wherever you have doubts. I do it as a service. I do not earn money out of this, any of my medical helps or medical suggestions. Humanity can live happily with peace of mind only when there is no disease or only when there is a prescription or provision to control the disease. Here, corona also, we are all afraid because there is no known medicine. Okay, there is no necessity that only corona should kill you. Meantime, when we share all these things, many people died of many different diseases. Many people are still suffering in ICUs. That is why I always request, when you believe God, when you do not believe God also, you always know whether there is God or no God. There are people around you. There are humans around you. There are many goodness around you. You please yearn them and you have concern for them. YEARN for them and concern for them. Yearning will, YEARN will have more effect than EARN. Okay, that is my simple suggestion. Once again, friends, as usual, every time I finish my talk, because I know the goodness of this world, I always say, be good, make the world good, good, make good everything around you, good, 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 good.